Hello everybody, welcome back to 401k Dexters. This is Carrie on my way home from the petty state check, as Josh Scanlon calls it. That regular old desk job that keeps money coming in during this last year of employment. Thought I'd jump on this straight country road and talk to you guys about why we chose Dexter cows for our property. So we ended up getting right at 12 acres. Not a whole lot of land, but big enough. Right now I think we're on a little less than 2 acres. So we definitely wanted some more property to stretch out on, have less neighbors, get out in the country, have plenty of room for our 2 Missouri Foxtrotters that we ride during the field trials with our bird dogs. The pasture that they're in now is about 3/4 of an acre, so we definitely wanted to give them more room. To get that size of property, we also needed to maintain an ag exemption, or you just get clobbered in taxes here in Texas. So the great thing about Texas is that they don't have any income tax, nor do they tax Social Security or pensions or withdrawals from retirement accounts, but they do have a pretty high price tag on property taxes. Supposedly they're going down now because there's a surplus in Texas, but totally different subject. So in order to get an ag exemption, there were certain qualifications on the property. When I started digging into it, it was so many animal units per acre. So an animal unit, I believe, was 1.5 cows, i.e. a cow-calf pair, or something like 4 goats per acre. So if you added up how many you were going to run animals on, I think I calculated out it was going to be like 16 or 20 goats. And my wife was like, oh heck no, we're not having 20 goats. So started looking at different breeds of cattle, and being not total greenhorns to ag or animals, our daughter grew up in the FFA showing pigs. It was kind of funny because I remember walking through many state fairs when our daughter was young, and my wife would be the one holding her nose as we were walking through the animal barn. And then many years later, she was the one with pig poop on her boots in the show crowd. So irony at its best. But we'd had horses, have horses, and we had pigs, and understood their needs. What it took for husbandry of livestock, but I didn't want to step off into full-grown Angus. My son-in-law thought Longhorns might be pretty cool, and granted they are cool and they are kind of a Texas thing, but I didn't want to have to deal with that big of animals. So I looked at belted Galloways. That was a nice breed. Looked at lowline Angus. But I kept coming back to the Dexter because they're an Irish breed that a lot of people go, oh, those shaggy ones. No, that's a Scottish Highland. And those are pretty cool looking cows too. But the Irish breed goes back along the lines of another Irish breed called the Kerries. I believe it's Just a Few Acres Farm on YouTube. Has a great history lesson on the Dexter cows, so I won't try to repeat it here because he does a lot better job explaining the history, how the breed developed, how the registries were created. But when I started looking at the breed, it was a small, stout breed. Everyone bragged about how good the meat was. Ideally, we were looking to put cattle on the property for our own personal beef consumption, as well as family members and friends. But because of the number of animals or animal units that we had to have on the farm, it branched off into the possibility of having heifers and steers on the property every year, so we could potentially keep a rotation of steers in the freezer and then sell a heifer every now and then. We did end up getting the 3 young heifers that were not quite breeding age. They will be in another 4 or 5 months. And then the kids, my son-in-law specifically, wanted to get Kiki, the horned cow, who is bred. So right now we've got 4 cows that are breedable, and we'll be able to put more cattle on the property. The aspect of the breed that makes them a milking cow was also attractive. Again, we don't have any experience in this, but the potential to have a milk cow and potentially branch off into making cheese or butter and those things was attractive. Then you throw in the third benefit, I guess, and that was draft animals. Now, I don't know anybody that uses cattle as draft animals, but I thought, it might be pretty cool to throw a harness on a cow and put one of those old-fashioned plows behind it and see if you can't train Dexter to pull a blade. So all the potentials added up to something that I thought was real intriguing about the breed. How docile they are. Most everybody that I have seen are easily able to walk among the cows that they have. Maybe not so much as a pet. Of course, these are cattle. It's not a dog. But it made it real attractive to me for safety reasons, for the ability to be able to take care of them, not have to have a huge cattle trailer to move them back and forth to the vet if that was necessary. But it got to the point where I went out and looked. When I put my hands on the Dexters, it was, love at first sight, really. So that's the reason that we ended up with Dexters on the property. So if you got any questions, leave some comments, questions. I'll try to get back to you. But there's a lot of information out there on different breeders on Dexter. The Dexter Ranch is another guy that has real good information out there. So check those out and let me know what you think. We'll talk at you later. 401k Dexter's out.